All right, hey, so I'm not with you guys today, but here are the notes that you're going to take. So you're working at your own pace. Some people may still be on the warm-up. Some people may be working on the flip book or watching a video. But right now, you're here with me. So hey, before you start, you need to go up to the front of the room and grab a note sheet that looks like this. They should be on the front table. So you need to grab your pyramid note sheet. So why don't you hit pause right now and go grab the sheet. And then when you come back, you can hit play and see me again. So hit pause. All right, you've grabbed the sheet from the front of the room. Now we're going to start taking notes. This is kind of really similar to your warm-up. That's why I had you do your warm-up this way, because we're going to look at another part-to-whole relationship. Just like cells make up tissues, which make up organs, which make up organisms, we're going to follow that same kind of pattern. So we're going to have the smallest piece of a puzzle at the top, and then the whole picture at the bottom. So that's why your warm-up was structured the way it was. So it was a little review, and then we're going to use the same structure. So you're following along with your note sheet. So today we're talking about levels of ecological organization. So we're just looking at how we organize things, and we're talking about ecology, which is how you're studying living things and how they interact with their environments. So our first vocab word of the day is our smallest unit. It is an individual. I-N-D-I-V-I-D-U-A-L. An individual. The definition we're going to use in science for an individual is that it is a one single living thing, or one organism. So an individual is any one single living thing, one organism. So if we wanted to think of an example, let's just go. Miss Trebles, is one single living thing, an organism. Easy enough. One single thing. The next vocab word I'm going to do in brown. So just like groups of cells are tissues, groups of individuals of the same type we call a population. So your vocab word is population. P-O-P-U-L-A-T-I-O-N. Population. So if we're still following that part-to-whole model, individuals make populations. So a population is a group of interbreeding organisms, or organisms of the same species, that live in the same area. So we'll say that a population is organisms of the same species. That's the important part here. Of organisms of the same species that live in the same area. It's just like how when you're driving down a road, maybe like a country rural road, and you see a sign and it says like Ruralsville, population 207, that means that there's 207 people. People are all of the same species. So if we're doing me, if we're going to continue this example, so if the individual is Miss Troubles, my population would be, I live in Arlington, so it would be the population of the people in Arlington. So people in Arlington. All right, so far if you're following along, individual is one single living thing. A population are all the same types of living things that live in the same area. Moving on, so if we're keep adding things to get to the big picture at the bottom, we've got to add on. I'll do this in, let me see if I have, we'll just alternate red, brown, red, brown. Our next vocab word is a community. C-O-M-M-U-N-I-T-Y. In a community are all the organisms, or all the living things in that area. So not just of the same species. So in my example, it's not just the people living in Arlington. It would be all the dogs in Arlington, all the trees in Arlington, all the flies that live in Arlington, all the bacteria that lives in Arlington. That's a lot. All the rats that live in Arlington, all the bunnies that live in Arlington, all the eagles, if there's any eagles that live in Arlington. Any living thing that's in my area. All right, so community are all the living things in the same area. So for my example, I would have Miss Trebles, the people of Arlington, because that's my population. And then I could add to that all the dogs in Arlington, all the bugs in Arlington, all the trees. One really important thing is a lot of times when kids are doing these, they're listening to community, but they never add plants. Plants are living things too, so remember to add plants when you're talking about your community. So an individual or groups of individuals, so multiple living organisms of the same type, make a population. Lots of populations, so all the people, all the bugs, all the dogs, all the trees, all the flowers, all the salamanders make a community. Now we gotta add on. So our vocab word is now an ecosystem. E-C-O-S-Y-S-T-E-M. And an ecosystem, like I said, we gotta add on. So we're adding the non-living things to this. So an ecosystem encompasses all the living and non-living things in the same area. So if we think about my example again, for Miss Trebles, I'm the individual. My population are all the people who live in Arlington with me. My community is all the people of Arlington, all the dogs in Arlington, all the bugs in Arlington, all the trees in Arlington, all the bacteria in Arlington, any living thing. My ecosystem would be all of those things and the non-living things in Arlington. Like there's a creek that goes along a running trail by my apartment. All the buildings in Arlington, those are non-living. All the streets in Arlington, those are non-living. The dirt in Arlington, there's some places that have sand, believe it or not, in Arlington. So you see how I'm adding in those non-living things like rocks, dirt, water. So ecosystem, non and living things. So we're adding on. Back to my red color. Our next vocab word is biome. B-I-O-M-E. Biome. A biome is one of several major types of ecosystems. So let's look at a map really quick before we do this. Biomes. So I said like my ecosystem in Arlington has all the living and non-living things in Arlington. That kind of encompasses, you know, the trees, the dirt, the roads, the bike paths, the water, anything in Arlington. Biomes, we're talking are really big spots. So if you think Arlington's big, yeah, it's a lot bigger than Falls Church. But biomes, we're talking about, this would be a desert biome. There's savanna biomes down here. So there are lots of ecosystems with the same type of climate, the same type of organisms. We call those biomes. So here's a desert biome. It's a large area. We've got a marine aquatic biome in the ocean. If you can see, up in Canada, we've got taiga and tundra biomes. So biomes are lots of ecosystems with the same climate and same types of organisms. So let's go back to our note sheet and we'll fill that in. So biomes are groups of ecosystems with similar climates and organisms. Groups of ecosystems with similar climates and organisms or living things. Here we go. Individual, one living thing. Population, that individual and all the things of its species that live in the same area. Community, all the living things of that area, not just the individual species. Ecosystem, all the living things in that community, plus the non-living things in the environment, like water, rocks, soil, sun. Biome are groups of ecosystems with similar climates and organisms. You see how individuals make population, populations make communities, communities plus non-living things make ecosystems, groups of similar ecosystems make biomes. Last one. Back to the brown. Our final vocab word is a biosphere. Bio, you hopefully know by this point in the course, means life. And sphere, from math, you know means circular. So a biosphere is the ecosystem of planet Earth. All the living and non-living things that are on the big circle of life, planet Earth. All right, so one more time. Just like our warm-up, how cells made tissues, tissues made organs, organs made organisms. We're looking at parts make up a whole. Well, now we can look at all the living things on planet Earth, starting with one individual. Individuals and their members of their species that they come into contact with, they're in the same kind of area, make populations. All the populations are all the living things. All the groups of living things in an area make up a community. Community are all the living things plus the non-living things in an area make up the ecosystem. Biomes are groups of similar ecosystems because they have the same climates, same kind of organisms. And biosphere, well, that's all Earth's biomes put together. So the marine areas in the oceans, the deserts, the savannas, the grasslands, the taigas, which are like evergreen forests, and they have lots of mountains and rocks. Tundras, really cold areas. So those are your notes. If you can't see these, if this handwriting's too small, I've also posted just a file of your notes that looks like this on Schoology. So if you need to copy those down, you're more than welcome to. Hopefully this was a good introduction to this. If you need more of a review or you want your book to explain it to you, because your book does a really good job, it's on page 422 through 433. Now your next task is you're going to flip to the back of this sheet, and then you're going to watch the next video called Circle of Life. That's in the red biodiversity folder. Bye guys!